All right, how we doing? Welcome. My name is Andy Malfrina. This is Drag the Lake, and this is going to be a quick little EP review of Shinto Katana's new EP, Left for Dead. So, what I'm going to try to do now is I have the two channels. This is the main channel, and Drag the Lake R&R, DTL R&R, Drag the Lake reactions and reviews. We do full album reactions over there. We do song reviews, do like one song reactions. I'll listen to a bunch of new music, all that kind of stuff. So we'll do that over there. Basically, where we're playing copywritten music, we do that over there. And when we're just chit-chatting, we do it over here. So I just did a full EP reaction to Left for Dead by Shinto Katana. Link for it down below if you want to listen to it. But here is the review for it. So, spoiler alert, I liked it a lot. I had a lot of fun with it. And it was pretty sick. And I'm actually thinking about this now because a big thing I was saying during the review is I really liked the fact that like they were doing a lot of stuff I've heard before and we've all heard before listening to hardcore music, but it was like, it was like you were getting, it's almost like you were getting a cheeseburger at a fancy restaurant. You're like, yeah, we've all had cheeseburgers, but have you had this place's cheeseburgers? So they were doing all the stuff you're used to, fucking playing a fast part, going into a two-step part, and then leading into more of a mosh part and shit like that. They're doing all the stuff where they play the big open version of the breakdown, then they tighten it up for the second half. They were hitting a lot of the notes. They had one song that sounded slightly more emo than the rest of the album, but there was just an overall just higher quality of execution than what I'm normally used to with this genre. And there's a lot of great bands in this genre, but they sort of get the like base level of needs of the song and then keep it moving. Now, that's good a lot of times, but when you listen to as much music as me and then you sort of hear the same thing over and over and over again, you get a little tired of it. So you may not dig deeper into those bands that don't add that extra little tweak. This band right here, they're adding all those extra little tweaks. They basically take a bunch of stuff you've heard before and give you the higher quality version of it. It's very good. Like, yeah, if you listen to hardcore and stuff like that, you're gonna like this album, but you're not gonna feel like bored of it because it has that extra oomph to it. A big thing they try to focus on is like the tone of all the instruments. I was talking about in my reaction, like the tone of the drums sounds very, a lot of these hardcore bands, they get bogged down with trying to have that, like, whatever people call it, dodgeball, or the snare drum that makes it the dodgeball sound and snare drum. I think it's because of the ping when you hit someone in the fucking head, or it sounds like you're hitting a big piece of iron or something like that. A lot of dudes try to like focus on that, and they kind of figure out their own thing. I really liked about the drummer, he was like implementing that sort of floppy wet sound you hear sometimes on Slipknot albums. You don't hear that in a lot of albums. So, and it's my favorite type of drum tuning personally. So when a band throws that in there, I get very, very happy about it. Oh shit. You can see my lunch on my bed. That's embarrassing. What is it? Oh, the guitar tone. They kind of have a like spookier tone to the whole experience. I really like that. It's just, yeah, it's like the best way to describe it is like I've heard a lot of these things before, but it just feels different as I'm hearing them. It feels different as I'm hearing them, and I think that comes with experience because I think this band, well, I was looking on their Spotify, they had a good run from like '08 to 2012. And then just this, or technically last year, they put out a bunch of singles, but this year they're putting out the EP with those singles and then a few more songs. So they've been dormant for like a little bit over a decade, or probably about a decade, because I'm sure they put out the album in 2012, toured on it, and then, went into hibernation. So they haven't really been a band for a decade, but at the same time, I'm sure I'm sure all of them were in other bands. I'm sure they all didn't stop playing music. I'm sure they didn't stop listening to music. So you can hear, and they're all slightly older than the average band you're going to get into in this genre, but through the sound of this album, you realize that's a benefit because they have, I think I think why a lot of bands don't have that is because this genre more skews younger. So you get a lot of people getting into it for the first time, and then mix that with the fact that most of these bands don't go that long. Like I think I heard someone making a joke like for hardcore bands like this, like the fourth album is the nail in the coffin, or the third album is, and actually that probably seemed true for Shinto Katana. They hit the third album and they stopped making music. But I think I've heard people say that where it's like the third album is the nail in the coffin. It's like most of these hardcore bands don't make it past 3 albums. I don't know if that's true, but it sounded like a clever joke, so I went with it. But yeah, I think by the sheer fact that they're all a little bit older is what provides that sort of expansion on the sound, which I think it would be smart for other bands to check them out to sort of, Knock Loose is kind of doing it the best, where they've kept their sort of core sound for the whole time, but you can hear in their tone and in their songwriting that they're always sort of like developing and shit like that. And they always come back, they put in an album, they take a little break to tour and write and do all that shit. And then they always come back with a new, better experience. They're always trying to figure out a way to sort of expand their sound. Yeah, what else do I want to say about Shinto Katana? It was just good. It was good. It was like fucking straightforward, no nonsense. I always say complicated does not equate to better. There's a lot of complicated bands that suck ass. Yeah, they just they cut out all the fat. They just gave you the lean the lean beef, dude. And I'll defend lean beef. I was talking about that to someone. Everyone always tries, especially when you're making burgers, people try to jerk off 80-20. Dude, you season it up right, you can have a good time with 93.6. I'm not lying. I'm not fucking lying. And then you don't have as much bad stuff in you. You can focus on the good stuff. But yeah, it's like a lean, no nonsense, right to the fucking point album. I think it's really worth your time. It's only 16 minutes, so it's not a long experience. If you don't like it, you're out of there right away. But I don't think you'll dislike it. I think you'll like it a fuckload. So yeah, man. To round this out, I guess Shinto Katana's new EP, Left for Dead. It's hard hitting. You're gonna get a lot of what you're used to in this genre, but you're also gonna get a good tweak on everything. Everything you hear in this album, you've probably heard it before, but you're gonna hear you're gonna hear it slightly tweaked, slightly better, and slightly more creative. So yes, go check out Left for Dead by Shinto Katana. All right, I'm Andy Malfrina. Go listen to the pod. Go watch the album reaction. Do all that stuff. And yeah, have a good day. Be about it. Peace.